Okay, so in this video, this is level 3. This is the pro elite level video. Exactly the same lineup. Balls are set up exactly the same. We're just going to take the balls in a different order. So in the previous video was level 2, the intermediate level. You could take, you have to put the balls in order. 1 to 15 all out the line. Once you've completed that one, we now move on to this one, which is the hardest of them all. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take the end ball and then this end ball, back down to this end ball, back down to this end ball, and work our way into the middle that leaves the 8 ball until last. What this does, as well as just being generally an extremely difficult drill, what this does do is it really improves your cue ball control. Because if you think about the amount of traveling that the cue ball is doing here, it's going from this end of the table to this end of the table, back down, back down. The cue ball is doing a serious amount of traveling. And when the cue ball does a serious amount of traveling, you need to be in control of it. So, drill number 3, the pro level, end balls working away into the middle. And as you can see, what the key here is, I'm using 2 rails most of the time, but what the key here is, bear in mind the cue ball can't touch another ball. I'm making sure that I leave the high angle. And what I mean by the high angle is where the cue ball's high, so the cue ball's having to go either 1 cushion or having to come 2 cushions. And every time I'm trying to leave that really high angle, which means the cue ball isn't going to crash into another ball. Okay, I've left the high angle here, but left a little bit too much of a high angle, so obviously this 3 ball is a little bit tougher than I wanted it to be. Okay, left the high angle again, recovered the situation a little bit. So you want to leave the high angle, but you've got to make sure now when it gets to these middle balls that the cue ball comes low enough that you can actually see the potting angle. This is where the cue ball control of this drill gets really important. Played that with a trace of the left-hand side that just widened the cue ball a little bit. Just a straight screw back like that may have looked quite simple, but when I'm just screwing the cue ball back maybe 12 inches or 18 inches, those are actually really difficult shots to play because it's easy to screw the cue ball back too far, or then because you're worried about that happening, it's easy to almost underdo it and stop the cue ball dead, which in this instance would have meant I'd have snookered myself. Okay, so as you can see here, I've left the wrong angle on my last ball, which means if I want to get close to the 8 ball, the cue ball is going to have to do a bit more traveling. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the top cushion, come down off the top cushion and try and get closer to my work. If I was to drop it in, yes, okay, I probably still should pot the 8 ball, but it can be missed, especially when you're under pressure. Being under pressure is something you feel maybe more towards the end of the rack. When we're playing 8-ball, of course, we pot the first ball, the second ball, the third ball. Once we get down to the 5th ball, the 6th ball, the 7th ball, we all feel the pressure starting to build, because that might be you breaking and clearing. Maybe the first time that you've broken and cleared, maybe an important time in the match. Whatever the feeling for you is, when you get towards the end of the frame, that's when the pressure starts to build. So, of course, it's really important to just keep control of your emotions, relax, and just face the shot ahead as though it's the first shot, really. And in this instance, I've come a little bit out of position, so I need to recover the situation. Okay, played it quite hard stun. The left-hand side, when it got to here, straight in the cue ball. And sometimes when you're under pressure, it's nice to be able to put a firm stroke through the cue ball. I think what a lot of people do when they're under pressure is sometimes they start to roll the ball a little bit slower. When you're rolling the ball, there's more room for problems, more room for the cue ball to deviate offline, more room for your arm to go wrong, as in if you're playing it slow, it can, maybe not go through in the straight line, where when you're putting a firm hit on it like I just did there, it's almost easier to just cue through it. And I think when you're under pressure, that's something that definitely helps. And that's the pro level routine. So there you have 3 different routines of exactly the same lineup. Once you get to the point of completing that one, then your game would definitely be in pretty good shape.